Hello everybody, I want to talk about teaching by analogy, but rather than discussing the theory of it, I want to just do an example with you guys. So did anyone see the history program about the Pony Express that was on a few nights ago? It looked at how the Postal Service in the US facilitated sending letters and packages from Missouri to California by different riders, bringing packages in a relay fashion. So the Pony Express was founded in 1860 because there was a problem. There was a big delay getting messages across, and Pony Express riders would ride from waypoint to waypoint, from location to location. That rider and horse would rest, and then the next rider and horse would take over. And in terms of what they could carry, each horse carried 25 pounds of equipment. That would include a saddle, 4 mail pouches, a rifle and a revolver, and then up to 20 pounds of mail. Here's some Pony Express pictures. So there's a lot of fiction related to Pony Express. This one is by Samuel Hopkins Adams. You see a lot of Jane Grey westerns that incorporate Pony Express themes. There's some actual Pony Express letters. There's a picture of real Pony Express riders. And here's our recruitment poster for the Pony Express. Wanted, young, skinny, wiry fellas, not over 18, must be expert riders and willing to risk death daily. Orphans preferred. So I'm going to start lying to you now. Trouble started happening at the early stages of the Pony Express because patrons would want to send lots of big packages. So because they were sending lots of big packages, nobody else's post could go. So people who were waiting for post in Sacramento, California would unfortunately be told, I'm sorry, you're not going to get your letters today. You have to wait for another week. The customers were very angry, so Mr. Russell decided to restrict the size of packages that anybody were allowed to send, and decided that 20 pages was the most any one individual could send along the Pony Express. Because of that restriction, and sometimes people want to send more pages, a businessman decided to set up this business whereby he would take a book, for example, if you want to send a book, he would rip it into pieces of 20 pages each, package them up individually, and send them all along on the Pony Express. And then at the other side in Sacramento, he had another factory where he would reassemble, rebind the books, and then you'd have the whole book. It wasn't necessarily simple to do because sometimes the packages came in different orders. Sometimes along the route, the first part of the package could get delayed, and later packages could arrive early. So the starting side of the business had to number the packages to say this is part 1 of 23, this is part 2 of 23, etc. to help out there. And occasionally mail would get lost along the route, or it would be stolen, or things like that. So what this business allowed was, for an extra fee, they would make an exact copy of whatever the book was, and then they could resend any missing packets if that was necessary. That bit isn't true. The Pony Express is true, but the bit about restricting the package size isn't true. But what it does really effectively explain is how computers work, and particularly how computer networks work. So the way the internet works is we send packets of information wrapped up exactly like that. There is a limit size to the packets, exactly as we were saying. Sometimes the packets arrive out of order, so that means we have to assemble only when we get the whole amount, and certainly we can send copies if there's a problem. So this is the TCPIP protocol. Don't worry about it too much. But the analogy works very well because what we're saying is the Pony Express trail is exactly like a computer network. The horse and rider is like an IP. When we break a book into pieces, we're thinking about how TCP breaks packets. When we think about taping the book together, we're thinking about how TCP reassembles packets. We can get an acknowledgement if we want, and that's the same as TCP/IP ACK. And if we wanted to, we could say to the system, you need to wait for a certain amount of time before you resend a duplicate. So that's teaching by analogy. It's very important when we teach by analogy to think about to what extent the analogy is correct and what bits of it might cause confusion. Alright, thanks.